Mahomes will gun it long, trying to get a free play, and the pass is up for grabs, and it is caught inside the top 5, near the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City! Welcome back, the Cheetah!
Hello, and welcome into The Breakdown. I'm your host, Matt McMullen, and in this week's episode, we are talking Chiefs and Texans as Kansas City dropped a tough one on Sunday afternoon for their second loss of the season. Let's kick things off with Coach Reid's opening statement from the post-game presser.
All right, as far as the injuries go, really Kendall Fuller is the only one. He hurt his thumb. And they'll have that x-rayed and looked at here. I've got to do a better job of getting our team ready to go, and that's where it starts. We're more disciplined than what we're showing with the penalties and drops and so on. We've got in tackling. We've got a bunch of things we've got to work on here and get them turned around. I've seen us do it better, and we will do it better. And as coaches, we got to make sure we're putting the guys in the right position, and that again starts right here with me. There are a bunch of things to look at, but again, penalties, time of possession. Those are pretty big at this time. Taking advantage of turnovers, we got to make sure that we do a better job offensively, taking advantage of turnovers and scoring touchdowns. And that's that's my responsibility.
Coach Reid really said it best. We know this team can be better. It just didn't come together on Sunday as the Chiefs fell to the Texans. The run defense struggled, there were some penalties at bad times, and the Chiefs just didn't take full advantage of their takeaways. It was a tough loss, plain and simple, but let's start from the beginning. The Chiefs got off to an incredible start, beginning with a third down screen to Darrell Williams that picked up 52 yards on third down.
In the pocket, they float a pass left side, caught wide open, 25 to the 30, to the 40, 45 up the left sideline, and it is going to be pushed out of bounds. It is Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams got free for a 51-yard pass from his own 13 and into Texan territory to the Texan 35.
It was a huge play, easily the longest of Williams' career, and it set up another big third down conversion just a few snaps later. Facing a 3rd and 21 near midfield, the Chiefs had a free play of sorts when the Texans jumped offside, and Patrick Mahomes was sure to take advantage. Mahomes fired a heave downfield for Tyreek Hill, who was playing in his first game since Week 1, and despite double coverage, Hill came down with it and fell into the end zone. You heard the call of that play in our open. It was simply incredible, and it demonstrated just how special of a player Hill is just minutes into the game. Here's what Hill had to say about that play afterwards.
I'm just making a play for my quarterback. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make him look the best. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog, that's my boy, so if he throw it up, I tell each and every one of the receivers, that's our ball. It don't matter if it's 5 people around us, 4 or 1, we going to get the ball, we attacking the ball.
Making plays is what Hill does, so as incredible as the catch and score was, it didn't surprise his quarterback. Here's what Mahomes had to say about the touchdown after the game.
We had put ourselves in a hole with 3rd and 20 or whatever it was. So we had an offsides play, and so instead of going for maybe trying to get in the field goal range, knowing that I had those the free play, I put it up there for Tyreek, and he made a great play. That dude can jump out of the gym, man. I mean, if you ever see him dunking, I mean, he can jump up there and he can make plays. And so it's good to have him back. He played well today. I mean, he'll keep getting more and more back in the offense as we keep getting him back.
Arrowhead was understandably rocking after Hill's touchdown, but it was about to explode just a snap later. On the Texans' first play from scrimmage, Frank Clark jarred the ball loose from tailback Carlos Hyde and picked it up himself to give the ball right back to Kansas City's offense.
And now the ball pops out on the first snap for the Texans. The ball's loose. Kansas City's got that football at the 17-yard line.
The Chiefs added a field goal soon after that to extend their lead, going up by double digits less than 5 minutes into the ballgame. Houston answered with a field goal on their next drive, but the Chiefs would respond as Mahomes led Kansas City on a 9-play, 90-yard scoring drive that culminated in a 14-yard strike to Damian Williams.
He set up a screen right side at the 15, 2 blocks at the 10. Damian Williams, 5, touchdown! Kansas City, a perfectly executed right side screen, and the Chiefs taste the sweet nectar of the end zone.
That score wrapped up an exciting first quarter for the Chiefs that included 168 yards and 2 touchdowns from Mahomes. In a game between two good teams, it was the definition of a strong start. But the Texans are leading the AFC South for a reason, and they'd answer Kansas City's early barrage with a huge quarter of their own, scoring 20 unanswered points following Williams' touchdown to take the lead. Houston was threatening to extend that lead after the break, driving into Kansas City territory on their first drive of the second half, but then Daniel Sorensen came up with a huge tackle on third down to halt Houston's advance. That play ended up mattering even more a snap later, when the Texans' field goal attempt sailed wide left and Houston came up empty on the drive. Then, on the Chiefs' ensuing drive, Mahomes put the Chiefs back in front with a 6-yard dart to Tyreek Hill on third down, marking Hill's second touchdown of the day.
Mahomes holding it, stepping up. He's going to fire it late. He's got Tyreek Hill near side. Touchdown, Kansas City. And the Cheetah runs to pay dirt for the second time in this game.
The Texans again drove it down the field after that, however, putting themselves in a position to reclaim the lead. Just like Sorensen had earlier, somebody needed to step up and make a play on the Chiefs' defense, and that's exactly what Charvarius Ward did. Facing third and goal at the Chiefs' 12-yard line, Watson threw a jump ball for Ward and all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, and it was Ward who came down with it for the interception.
Looking left, fade pattern near side, and it's going to be intercepted. Charvarius Ward intercepted in the end zone, playing the fade perfectly, and the Chiefs get the pick, and the Texans are shut out on the drive.
It was a huge time for Ward to notch his second pick of the year, halting a would-be Texans scoring drive in a tight game. Here's what he had to say about the interception after the game.
I mean, I just played my technique. The coaches have been teaching me all season and all off-season as well. I mean, that was one of the better plays of my career, so, I mean, I'm happy I made the play, but I wish I could have ran it back for a touchdown if it would have helped us win. But, I mean, that was one of the best plays of my career, so, I mean, I made a good play.
The Chiefs couldn't get much going after the pick, though, eventually punting the ball back to Houston as Dustin Colquitt booted a beautiful 68-yard kick to the Texans' 7-yard line. Watson again led the Texans down the field, however, and this time they came away with points, as Houston's young quarterback scrambled for a 1-yard score to push the Texans back in front. The Chiefs couldn't move the chains on their next drive, which brings us to the play of the game. Houston had driven it into field goal range, but facing a 4th and 3 with 2 minutes left, the Texans elected to go for it. This was the ball game, and as Watson found DeAndre Hopkins for an 8-yard pickup to move the chains, it was enough to seal the victory for Houston. It was simply a tough ending to a back-and-forth game. All right, let's dive into my 3 stats to know from this one. My first stat is 80. That's how many receiving yards Tyreek Hill tallied on Sunday in his return to action. Obviously, stats aren't nearly as sweet when they come in a losing effort, but it was nonetheless exciting to see Hill making plays on Sunday. Here's what Coach Reid had to say about Hill's return.
Yeah, it was good to get him back out there. That was probably a positive to have him back out there and come out healthy.
My next stat is 3. Patrick Mahomes had 3 touchdowns on Sunday, marking his 14th career game with 3 or more touchdowns. But here's the thing. The guy's only played 23 career games. In other terms, Mahomes has thrown 3 or more touchdowns in 60% of the games he's played as a professional. Again, it's not nearly as much fun in a loss, but we can't forget how special number 15 is. My final stat is 68. Dustin Colquitt unleashed a 68-yard punt late in the game, his longest since the 2017 season. The game certainly didn't end the way the Chiefs wanted, but it sure is nice having a weapon like Colquitt still doing his thing 15 seasons into his career. Okay, let's wrap this thing up with some final thoughts. This was a frustrating game, but the good news is the Chiefs won't have much time to think about it. Kansas City will be on Thursday Night Football in Denver in just a few days, so they'll have to turn the page pretty quickly. It's not fun losing 2 games in a row, but with a quick turnaround looming, it's times like this that teams simply have to power through the adversity that they're being presented with. Coach Reid talked about how the locker room can learn from this stretch moving forward.
So we've got good character in that locker room all the way around, and so we've got to stay positive and upbeat with it and learn from the mistakes. I mean, that's what we've got to do. I've seen us play better. So that's my responsibility, make sure we get to that position. And but the character of this team is solid. We got to flip a few things. The margin of winning and losing in this league is minute, and you're just a play or 2 away from coming out of this thing with a win. And so we've got to take care of business. That's what we have to do. And every season is going to give you some hurdles that you have to scale there, and this is one of those challenges. So it tests you, but we'll bear down. We'll bear down and get it done.
That's all you can do when you're going through a rough patch like this. And if I know anything about this locker room, it's that they possess more than enough talent and drive to get through this. It isn't fun now, but it's a long season, and this team still has everything right in front of them. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Matt McMullen, and I'll see you in just a few days as we take on Denver.